Is this what I think it is? So, what I've got for you today is a viewer-submitted game of StarCraft 2 where our Gold League Zerg has sent out a drone right at the very start of the game. We find ourselves on Neo-Humanity and he's moved the drone on over towards the opponent's third base. This is a cheese that Dark seems to be very fond of, but now executed at a little bit of a lower level. Yeah, a proxy hatchery right over here on the other side of the map. What you can do is mine out these mineral fields right over here and make even a couple of spine crawlers. That seems to be what Dark is very fond of, and we'll start gobbling up the Terran structures here one at a time. Currently completely unaware of this cheese. Spawning right here in the bottom right-hand corner of Neo-Humanity. Playing with the red Terran SCVs. He's in Silver League and he goes by the name of Polt. Now, I've got a feeling that is not the Polt that you and me may very well be familiar with. Once upon a time, there was a Korean pro gamer called Polt who ended up winning a ton of competition over in, well, especially the North American region. He ended up winning a whole lot of tournaments. He was known as Captain America, despite the fact that he was Korean because he, like, I think he studied in North America or something like that. Anyways, I've got a feeling that if Polt decided to pick up the game again today, he would certainly not be in Silver League, so I think that this is just going to be a fan. The opponent, in the opposite corner, playing right here with the blue Zerg drones, going for that proxy hatchery. Currently in Gold League, we have Shoo Shoo Baby. That's an interesting nickname, isn't it? Shoo Shoo Baby, ba-da-ba-da-da-da. Okay, maybe he's just really into the Christmas vibes here already. I'm not entirely sure. Be a bit early, I'm not gonna lie, but... Okay, so it's an engineering bay block right over here on the low ground. Polt thinking he is outsmarting the opponent, but this works out really well for the Zerg, who now has free reign right over here of the opponent's third. No additional drones were sent across the map. No Roach Warren or anything like that has started up yet either. So the first step of this build went really well. The hatchery went down at a reasonable time. The follow-up is already a little bit of a disaster because there's no Roach Warren. We now finally start up mining here in the back. Okay, we don't have any spines or anything along those lines. With double gas. Okay, that was... We're 2.5 minutes, well, more than 2.5 minutes in. That spawning pool must have been done for like at least 45 seconds. And now finally the Roach Warren starts up and the second gas geyser gets saturated, but only with 2 out of 3 drones. Okay, I'll allow it. I'll allow it. Reaper going around the site. Polt at this point wants to figure out what's happening. Good grenade right over there, pushing back the Queen. Okay. You know what? That was actually really nice. He clicked on the Roach Warren too, so he sees exactly what he's playing against. And Polt is going to be able to prepare for a little bit of aggression. Now, does he realize that it's going to be coming from the third base? There's... There's a Marauder that he built, I think, before he scouted the Roach Warren. Then he scouts the Roach Warren, he's like, great, I'm going to go ahead and make a Marine. What we really need right now is units and maybe a bunker or something to defend our base here, Polt. That would be really nice. The creep over here gets spotted. The spine crawler here is coming up as well. Zerg already has roaches here that he could certainly send in, but he decides, no. I'm gonna be morphing in Ravagers. I'm gonna be waiting here, I think, for the spine crawler as well. We're gonna sit here. My opponent has spotted what I'm doing, but I'm gonna give him a little bit of time to prepare. That's just out of respect, right? You gotta make sure your opponent at the very... Where are the units? We're going for 1 siege tank? No bunker? Oh my god. Ooh. I was actually switching to the APM tab. What is he doing? This is the Terran's point of view. In the bottom right-hand corner, you can see the command card or like the selection tab thingamajig, whatever it's called, and there's actually some spamming going on. So he's a Silver League player. Unless the loading screen was off. No, he's definitely a Silver League player. He is... The problem is, the APM is high, but the accuracy is low. We're not producing out of many of these structures here. We have not responded to seeing any of this. Now, finally, by the way, Shoo Shoo Baby goes in. Who really should have... Oh, okay. Should have really gone in a little bit ago. How in the world is there only this small little army? Okay. Rapid fire right there on the siege tank. There you go. The corrosive balls all connecting pretty much right around the same time. This is pretty much exactly the way I anticipated a Gold League cheese to go like this, yeah. The problem with this cheese, though, is that it's actually not easy. I've given this a try myself as well, and while, you know, if you watch somebody like Dark, if you watch mostly pro games, they make it look pretty easy, right? They make it look pretty straightforward. The problem is, it turns out, right, bear with me, Dark's really good at the game. And he's really good at managing everything else while the game is really funky and different. this is not an easy build. Now, what the Terran player has had to do so far, I'm not entirely sure. This is relatively normal, right? But still, we're already up to, well, 1,200 plus resources. Despite 226 average actions per minute so far, none of those actions are being spent on actually making stuff. I wouldn't mind seeing some stuff being made right now. I'm not gonna lie. There's a factory here that's been on idle since forever. I think it produced a single tank. We've got a medevac right now. SCV gets ejected once again out of the medevac. We're gonna go for a double Marine Marauder drop. Okay. Siege tank there on the high ground. Quite nice. I'm a little afraid that Zerk, who's making a lot of units here, he's made a couple drones as well, but he's got a large army. I'm a little afraid that Zerk is gonna run all of those units up the ramp. If you want to engage this as Zerk, I think what you should do is get high ground vision with an Overlord and then bile the siege tank down on the edge. That siege tank is actually way too aggressively positioned, because if the Overlord here flies a little bit further forward, you can bile that down easy peasy, and then there's pretty much nothing remaining on the side of the Terran. Now, one thing Polt could do over here is sneak this command center elsewhere. Yeah, maybe the natural is no longer really accessible, right? But what are the odds of the Zerg player checking out this location, or this one over here, or this one up here? The odds of the Zerg actually looking in those spots is rather low, so that seems to be what maybe the Terran here is going for. Okay. You know, my theory here for Polt, okay? 211 actions per minute. So Polt is a Wings of Liberty pro. Oh, no. Don't walk up the ramp. There's now 2 siege tanks. He was popular, I think, in Wings of Liberty, maybe Heart of the Swarm, if I recall correctly. I'm not exactly sure. It's a long time ago. I've got a feeling that Polt was a big fan of the pro gamer Polt. And since then, here's my theory. Since then, he's been playing a lot of MOBAs. He's been playing a ton of MOBAs where you control one unit and you effectively micro one unit the entire game. This essentially is one MOBA hero right over here. The focus seems to be very heavily on microing units and very little on macro, which is usually a problem that MOBA players run into, at least as far as I've experienced. There's a heavy focus on unit control, but very little focus on trying to make more stuff. And in 90% of the cases, the player with more stuff in StarCraft 2 will end up winning. Now, you can certainly micro these units very well as well. That's obviously what, well, Polt used to do, but also what Bjorn likes to do, and Maru, and all of those top-tier Terrans are very good at microing units, but that's because they also make a lot of stuff at the same time. Macro and producing units always takes priority in StarCraft 2 over... Ooh. Okay. This is actually going much better than I anticipated. That meta... Never mind, he's not a MOBA player either. That was horrible. Why'd you pick up after winning that fight the entire time? I've got nothing, okay? My theory makes no sense. Finally, by the way, after that command center landed like half a minute ago, there's now a mule mining over here and we've started up some production. Oh no, no, Zerk, careful. Okay, he does get some high ground vision here with that Overlord. You know what? What I was suggesting a couple minutes ago now is true. It's a little late, however, and the Marine Marauder ball has grown quite nicely. Okay. Gutting down the unbuildable plates. You love to see it. Screw those plates right there in particular. Terran wasting a lot of firepower there that he could have, well, probably done to the Zerk unit instead. But anyways, doesn't really matter all too much. Is Zerk going to figure out about this base? Because in the mind of Shushu Baby right now, he's had the Terran player contained on one base this entire time. Which in theory is a great situation to be in, right? Oh, there's the all-army hotkey. Couple Marines come and stim in from the other side. They are certainly gonna go down. Siege tank right there, much better position this time around. Okay, it is gonna start dealing more and more damage, and it looks like Polt has actually won this fight. Now again, imagine if both players had actually spent their bank. Shushu Baby, I mean, these roaches are 75 minerals and 25 gas each. He can make, I'm not gonna do the math, but he can make a lot of roaches. Imagine all of this micro was not here, but instead we had all those additional resources spent on additional roaches. This would have been a walk in the park. He could have probably just, well, I don't suggest walking up the ramp. I don't think that's a very good plan, but at the very least, these fights would have looked a whole lot better here for the Zerg. Likewise for the Terran, of course. Marines are only 50 minerals each. You can, yeah, you can get a lot of value here if you were to spend the money. Okay, some good balls over there, though. He's found the joy of rapid fire. So that makes things a little bit better. Ooh. Almost bowed his own units. That would have been amazing. Okay. We're now making, yeah, just more and more stuff. The problem is, man, Terran could have been mining here for such a long time. Creep Tumor does move forward. As soon as that Creep Tumor finishes up, Zerk will find out about that base. Medevacs have been killed a little while ago, so these Terran units, every time they stim, they actually, yeah, just die. Oh god. Ooh, okay. Well, every time they take a corrosive ball as well. Now he's spotted this CC. Bolt has only got a single worker here. How in the world did we take that, but we did not make any use out of the location? Okay, well, at least the factory has been back in production for a little while already. You love to see that, because it's gonna make it very difficult for the Zerg to actually move forward. I don't think that should really happen. No. Shoo, go back, dude. What are we achieving, man? What are we... Oh, those balls were sick. Okay. But what are we trying to... what's the point? What's the win condition here? I think the win condition here for Zerk is I have been playing 2 bases for a while. You've been on 1 base this entire time. Therefore, I should be able to make more stuff. And therefore, I should be able to overwhelm you. The thing is, that is true. But Bolt has stepped up the mining. He has stepped up the production. And the macro here is looking a whole lot tighter right now. A lot of that income difference that Zerk has had here, I mean, it's relatively minor, is caught up in the units that are currently in the... Or, sorry, the resources that are currently in the bank. Okay, well, those SCVs made it very obvious that there was a command center there if he hadn't already looked at the minimap. So now these SCVs are also gonna find their graves. In the meantime, though, the Marines and the Marauders... Actually, just the Marauders, stimming forward. Going after this over here, another stim. That stim was maybe a little bit more aggressive than it needed to be, but this is certainly now gonna shut down the Zerg's base over here as well. At least the mining. Okay. In the meantime, the Queens, out of all units to shoot down that engineering bay, the Queens, they have managed to kill that expansion, or at the very least the thing that was blocking the expansion, and now he's going to be able to go for that base over here. Okay. APM has come down a little bit for Bolt, even though he's been playing much better. That's a little bit suspicious. How did that happen, right? It's almost like... playing in full panic mode is not a great idea. Shoo Baby has got much higher average actions per minute right now, but I think a lot of that is the rapid firing of the corrosive bile. It's... yeah, it makes it look like you're playing incredibly fast, but I actually think that that is not necessarily that amazing. We have a double expand over here right now for the Zerk in the meantime at home. Shoo Baby had this game in the bag. Like, it really... I mean, obviously he hadn't won the game yet, but he was like 75% of the way there, right? You had to try at that point to fall behind. He's still in a good position, but the amount of bio units here is... yeah, it's getting kind of big. It is getting quite significant. There's not really that many upgrades on them other than, I guess, the basic ones, but no NG Bay upgrades or anything like that. Looks like... ooh, you know what? This is actually a problem. The orbital command, yeah, it ended up getting killed entirely. And the main base is running out of juice. So this is about to get really funky here. Bolt has a much stronger army. But what he doesn't have is, well, income. Now, this is much nicer, though, for the Terran player. This is what he's been looking for the entire time. He's got to be able to now finally shut down that Zerg army. And with it, this expansion over here as well. There's a lot of overlords in this area. There's, of course, that hatchery from, well, the early game. There's a lot of overstimming going on as well, yeah. Definitely a little too aggressive on the stim pack, but we're gonna shut this down, and I think we're gonna go for a bit of a counterattack over here. Okay. Main problem, though, is that Terran now has essentially no income. If we have a look at the income right over here in the top left-hand corner, it's not like Zerk has a lot, by the way. Yeah, 200 and something minerals here coming in a minute. Okay, now that the natural is acquired, a little bit more. He's going for additional Zerglings. Link speed just finished up, but here's that medevac drop that has shown up. A lot of these Marauders, though, are one little tickle away from dying, so these 2 Queens can probably take on all of these Marauders. To the medevacs, give them a little bit of time. There you go. Give them a nice little polish on their armor. Very nice, but here's the additional Terran units coming across. I think Bolt may have just been able to come back. I'm still a little concerned, though, for the mining situation, right? Like, he doesn't have any income, and as we've already seen earlier on in this game, there seems to be no intention to really focus on macro either. Oop. Not Clem, not Maru, not Björn confirmed. I mean, I don't think walking Marines into the Banelings is usually the method that these guys use for micro, but I mean, it still took up a lot of Banelings, and at this point, there's really not that much available right here for the Terran player. Well, for the Zerg player, neither. Okay, that was a good target. Look at that. Okay, he actually did target fire down one of the Banelings. I think the MOBA strategy is strong. I think the MOBA strategy is real good. Zerg, by the way, has finally smashed his piggy bank, and he now has 0 income as well. I mean, he's got a little bit more income than the opponent, but very little. He is producing more, though, than the opponent right now, because Terran, yeah, has only just now flown that command center down towards the low ground. I think this is a good choice. All of these SCVs are waiting, eagerly ready to return the minerals. There we go. And that suddenly allows him to make a couple of Marines once again. Okay. If Bolt did not overstim, like 5 times in a row, I think he would have been able to win this game by now. Instead, Zerg is going to be able to start mining off of, well, a couple fresh bases. If we just have mass Zergling production over here, this is gonna deal a lot of damage. Yeah, he's going for Zerglings right now. These spine crawlers should really come down, man. There's 2 spine crawlers in the main base. They should really come down towards the low ground to try and help against this aggression. At the very least, it's gonna buy a lot of time. That's the one thing Zerg really desperately needs here. Terran once again staring at his armies, completely forgetting and oblivious to the fact that he should be producing stuff. There we go. Finally, we have a little bit more production once again. Let's go back to the Terran's point of view. This is the Terran's point of view right now. Ooh, there's a lot of camera scrolling going on. You know what? When I first saw the APM for just a second, I thought this... Ooh, okay, this could actually be Mr. Polt, but... Generally, one thing you'll notice for pro gamers is that they very rarely scroll. So you saw the movement right there? They don't really do a lot of this. A lot of the camera scrolling right now. It's a lot more effective to... use that as infrequently as possible. Banelings, okay, do have their little speed upgrade right now. Bolt doing a good job, though. Microing those units, sending them off creep. Here's the all-army stim pack. A double stim. Let's go, man. The first one didn't even run out yet. That just now caused those siege tanks to deal friendly fire, but I don't entirely know if it matters. Zerg really needs to get some more army out, but every time he does anything, those siege tanks, yeah, just shut down all of those units. I actually think Lings are probably better here than the Banelings. Man, Spine Crawlers at the front right now, Queens with transfusions and mass Zerglings. I think it would clean this all up very easily. He's got that macro hatchery over here too, which I really like. It's just that he needs the stuff. Those medevacs, man. They've been hard at work keeping those very stim-happy units, well, as healthy as they possibly can, but in the end... maybe the Zerg is gonna have a big enough army. Yeah, he's gonna be able to cut down 1 siege tank. Is he gonna be able to cut down the second as well? Well, he's target firing it down and he will get it. Okay. That's gonna make the advancement of the Terran here quite a bit trickier. Once again, all army stim pack, sending everything towards the other side of the map. Not a great way to play the game, but hey, if you need units here as fast as possible, it's one way of doing it. Medevacs are basically out of energy, but he did just now kill the opponent's natural expansion. Here's a couple more Banelings coming in. Are we gonna see target firing on those? No, he decides to pick up instead. That was clutch, but he managed to at the very least keep these units alive. More reinforcing Marines showing up. Medevacs desperately trying to accumulate some more energy. Here come those Banelings for a second time. Okay, and this time around they do kill practically everything. That now means that these Zerg units can actually go for a little bit of a counterattack. But it looks like Bolt has finally found his Marine button. Yeah. 3rd CC here has finished up. He's been producing quite a few Marines all at once. This is clearly where the rally point is set. Trying to be as annoying as possible, but nice little Zergling counterattack. Bolt ends up losing quite a few of his workers here. 37 workers have gone down in this game so far, but I mean, it's been going on for 20 minutes. Neither player actually producing anything right now. Dude, for a Silver and Gold League game, this has to be the best game that these guys have ever played. Like, I can't imagine, right? Like, we're obviously looking at this objectively, right? We're kind of, you know, judging the players maybe a little bit. But StarCraft 2 is a really hard game. It's very easy to look at this and think that you would do a whole lot better. Now, if you don't play the game, spoiler alert, you probably would not be doing a whole lot better. And, well, if you've played the game a lot, you probably realize how difficult StarCraft 2 is. These guys, man, they're trying to make the best of a very difficult game. Falling back into some old habits, maybe. Or army hotkeying the Stimpack button is not ideal, but in the end, Pult does have a large enough army. And even though I don't think his reactions against the Proxy Hatchery were necessarily perfect, I think he's managed to do it. I think he got it done. I don't see a way for the Zerg player to micro his way out of this. Unless he gets, like, a banger of yeah, there's no way. Even if he hits the Baneling connection of a lifetime. Right now, Pult has secured a third command center. All army hotkey stimming everything towards the other side. Once again, face tanking the Banelings right there with the Marines. I don't think that's the way you want to do it, but StarCraft 2 oftentimes is just a numbers game. And Pult, even though his macro in the earlier stages of this game wasn't that great, he's figured out the way to make more stuff, and that turns out to be very helpful. He's got the weird tendency to pick up against units in fights where he would have won, and now he sends the units towards the spine crawlers, and that makes no sense. We had that similar situation with the spawning pool with the very first medevac. I don't understand why he picked up against the drones here either, but anyways, they're big. They do look kind of scary. I mean, when you think about it, right? If a Marine is like 6 foot tall, like 180-ish, these drones are huge, okay? These drones have a wingspan of like 2.5 meters, easy. So maybe, yeah, seeing an elephant-sized thing that can levitate or hover. Yeah, maybe seeing that run at you would make me jump into the medevac too. But I do believe he would have been able to win that with the Stimpack upgrade that he's so very fond of. That being said, the lair right now is being targeted down for a little bit. We then retarget it, but now we're gonna finish the job eventually. GG, well played is Colt. I like that. As our Silver League hero, Pult, obtains the victory. One more? Let's do one more. So what I've got for you next is a Terran versus Terran on the map Dragon Skills. I can always recognize it by, I guess, the Dragon Skills. Is that, I think that's probably supposed to be the Dragon Skills. I'm not entirely sure. Anyways, spawning right here, ooh, in the top left-hand corner and already sending out SCVs. We have a Silver League hero once again, and his name is Jason Yu. His opponent in the opposite corner, currently in Platinum League, likewise a Terran as well. We have none other than, it is me. It is me, the Terran. Okay, this is about to get funky already. Both players are sending out SCVs. Both players have scouted the opponent, but neither player seems to care. Yep, no, we're still gonna go for the proxy barracks. Fair enough. The SCVs essentially high-fived in the middle of the map, and both of these guys are like, yep, that's great. Fantastic, we're gonna double down on the proxies. Now, there is one barracks coming up at home. Jason decides to be slightly more defensive, but he also does have another SCV out. I wouldn't be surprised if this is gonna be, ooh, I actually like this SCV pool over here a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if this is gonna plant down another barracks. So, oh no. Okay, you do have to target the SCVs very specifically though. If you don't, you accidentally kill the barracks. Oh my god, what? That was bullshit. I mean, that was mean, okay? That was mean. I feel like the scaffolding right there was still up when the SCV died, but apparently the scaffolding can take itself down. That's amazing. Alright, wait, we're going Marines? Jason is going Marines right here, whereas It Is Me is going for Reapers. There's only one gas taken. Jason also has not started up an orbital command, instead he decides to go for a bunker. The problem is, his mineral line is incredibly exposed, and I would imagine that is where It Is Me. It's me, the Terran.
It's me, Mario.
It's me, Mario. Okay, that's a little bit better. Yeah, no, I had to look it up. Anyways, I've got a feeling, though, that both players are gonna take a lot of units to the grave very soon. I mean, I think they're gonna both end up losing a lot of economy if they're not careful. It Is Me has absolutely nothing at home other than SCVs. Okay, he at least completes the wall off. combat SCV here. Doesn't mess around, killing whatever he can. Look at that, legend. There you go. 0 confirmed kills, because Jason, I mean, this Marine over here, clearly a kill stealer. In the meantime, though, Reapers are now going to town inside of the main base of our Terran player in red. There is one bunker, but it's in a position I don't really like all too much. This is about to get a little bit crazy here. As long as Jason manages to break into his opponent's base and he can start working on these SCVs in blue, both players may very well be reduced to, like, 2 workers. We may very well see less workers. Oh, there you go. That's one way to save it. Than these guys started with in the game. So currently there are, well, a couple combat SCVs still out on the map. Right now, Jason has managed to break in. He should really go for the SCVs, though. Orbital Command right now coming up, which I love. I think an Orbital Command here is fantastic. 1 mule mines for way more than those SCVs can mine. And, well, obviously, if you don't have any SCVs, having a mule is pretty neat. Anyhow, Reapers are going to continuously stream into the main base of our player in red, as Jason is doing nothing. So Jason's plan right now is to give up. This is not a very good plan. My mom would disagree with that plan, Jason. We've got that command center. Oh, okay. Marines actually popped out of the bunker too. We've got that command center. We should probably position it elsewhere. Okay, well, you know what? How many units does our player in red still have? Okay, 7 Marines. It is me has absolutely nothing. He just landed the mule as well in the middle of this fight, which is not ideal. I think everything here for our player in blue is going to die as well. Okay. So, well, the mule apparently does get to live. That's nice. Mules, by the way, cannot attack. These guys, they're, I guess, drones or something. I don't know. They have no attack AI, so I have no idea what to do. This is a game. After careful consideration, I can indeed confirm that this is one of the games of all time. It is me, has an orbital command. I honestly think the orbital command is key here. The problem is, though, if this command center starts burning, he would be in a lot of trouble. If that command center starts burning, it is going to start burning down very rapidly. It is me only has a little bit of money to actually repair. Repair in StarCraft 2 is not free, so even if he gets an SCV down underneath this, or maybe even a mule, to repair the command center back up, as long as it's in red hit points, it is going to start burning down. Okay. So yeah, this thing is going to start burning down. How in the world? So I looked at the replay timer. I'm going to open up the replay timer. How in the world is this game still going on for another 16 minutes? How? Okay, no, the command center gets saved. It seems that the command center gets saved. This is a bit strange. Okay, command center in the main base, though, has been landed once again. Jason here, still not gone for an orbital command, because orbital commands, I mean, that's for players that, you know, are tryhards, okay? We don't go for orbital commands. Why go for, spellcasting, right? I guess it's essentially spellcasting from a command center. It's the strangest StarCraft 2 wizard right here. Dumbledore would be very disappointed in this command center, but as soon as it turns into an orbital, as soon as it starts accumulating energy, life's pretty good. Well, speaking of life being pretty good, double mule now mining over here in a base that I don't think Jason is really, gonna expect. He's got an orbital, or sorry, he's got a barracks over here, but I don't think it's gonna be used for scouting, as it will get killed. And what seemed like a winnable game for Jason, now once again has become a bit of a disaster. So if you look at the income, yeah. This is a very significant advantage right now for It Is Me, just because of the mules. The work account is, well, even in favor right now of Jason. Oh, okay. One problem, I guess, though, for It Is Me is that he doesn't really have... So this does get scouted, by the way, but he doesn't really have anything to counter Hellions right now. Okay. The Reapers get to sit in that bunker. I actually quite like that. Keep tabs of the opponent, make sure that they don't move out. It's going to be difficult for Jason to produce a medevac here, so... I think what we'll probably see here from both players... Yeah, we do see a starport coming up. I think what we'll probably see here from both players is them just building up for a little while. So there's a reason why in StarCraft 2 at some point we decided, you know what, we're gonna start off with 12 workers rather than 6. It's because usually in the first few minutes of a game of StarCraft 2, all you really have is players producing workers. It takes a while. So 12 SCVs, 12 drones, 12 probes. Honestly, one of my favorite changes we've ever had to StarCraft 2. Maybe it's because I commentate a lot of games, but seriously, it's sped up the early game so much. Honestly, in the past, the game would kind of start at like the 5-minute mark. Right now, the games usually start at like 1.5, maybe 2 minutes into the game when the first units really pop. But back in the day, the first 5 minutes of the game was basically these guys just trying to get up to 12 SCVs. That was at least what it felt like. We have a tech lab over here on the starport. The problem is Jason has no money. He decides to go for the cloak upgrade for the Banshee, but again, he's got no money. He can't afford a Banshee. So he's gonna need to mine for a little bit longer. Okay, It Is Me can't really get towards the high ground very easily, although he's gonna try. He sees the green light, so that's big. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing you trying to figure out what is happening here. Now, there's a couple Hellions coming out to play. You could have gone into the bunker, but apparently that would make sense, so you decide not to. Fair enough. Okay. One Cloak Banshee can still end this game, though. If he starts it up right now, it will actually spawn with Cloak, and that's exactly what he does. So this cloaking upgrade takes about, well, half. Or sorry, like, you can produce one Banshee in the time that it takes for half of this upgrade to finish. So you can exactly produce 2 Banshees in the time that it takes for the cloaking upgrade to finish up. I think that's by design. Anyways, if it's up to It Is Me, though, he's gonna send these units across the map. He does have enough energy saved up for a scan. Don't know if that's on accident or if it's by design. He now sees this in the main base too, so okay. Problem is, now he's used the scanner right here, so obviously he doesn't have a scan to actually deal with the Cloak Banshee. I think we'll probably see the Banshee being used defensively. I think we'll probably have to see the Banshee being used defensively. Widowmine over here, by the way. Nicely killed a unit as well. Please cloak it. Please cloak it. Please cloak. Ooh, okay. Please cloak it. Don't lose it to Marines. I've seen that happen many times. I don't think we need to send these Marines and these Hellions to their graves here, but fair enough. The one hero Banshee. You love to see it. Another siege tank is like, yo, bro, I'm ready to roll out! Okay. Luckily here, Jason is a merciful god. He's seen the second siege tank, if I'm not mistaken, but there's a Reaper inside of the main base being incredibly obnoxious. That now means that Jason literally has 0 SCVs. Jason now has 0 workers. Yeah, this is the way to get back into it, I guess. We need mules. We need to start up worker production once again. It Is Me doesn't have much either, only 10. But at least, you know, it's bigger than 0. He's got infinitely more economy. Okay, sadly here it takes a little bit of energy as well to activate the cloaking. So if he activates the cloaking right now, he's gonna, well, not be able to do much. But he got around, okay. The Marines really need to hang out over here inside of the mineral line. Oh, there's the scan, there's the cloak. But he should be able to fly that away. Please fly it away. Oh my god. It ran out of energy. It ran out of energy right there at the last second. He should have just flown straight away. I think that would have been a little bit better. Okay. So, this is apparently the trigger for It Is Me to go for another attack, and I actually agree with him. The odds of the opponent having more money to go for even more Banshees is rather low. Although I actually don't know if I agree with this switch around here. I think another Banshee would be really nice. Jason is getting some cash once again, slowly rebuilding wherever he can. This supply depot is now actually made out of gold, because that's taken up, like, you know, the last 2 minutes worth of mining. I don't think he needs that right now, but anyhow. Well, if he loses this supply depot at the front, he may very well be correct. This is a difficult one to break. There's a second siege tank over there in the back as well. I wouldn't mind seeing that one being brought a little closer, yeah. Maybe even bring in one of these barracks forward to provide high ground vision would also be nice. It's not like you can really produce out of this all too comfortably, but... Anyways. This is actually a pretty dang good game, though. Compared to the previous one, I feel like these guys are doing a little bit of a better job, right? Like, they seem to be on top of stuff, a little bit more reliably. Now... Like I said, It Is Me was a Platinum League player on the loading screen of this game. Jason, I think, was Silver League. Or maybe I'm getting the switch around right now. Anyways, one of these guys was Silver, the other one was in Platinum. Maybe it's professional MMR, right? Where like one player actually, like both of these players are probably supposed to be in Platinum League. Because it definitely does seem like a bit of a higher skill level. Oh, trying to tiptoe that lane away as well. Sorry about that, Jamie. You could have been microed away out of range of the siege tank, but It Is Me wanted to give high ground vision to these siege tanks, so you were bait. Yeah, you were cannon fodder, I'm sorry. Anyways, most importantly right here though for Jason, he managed to hold on. He managed to hold on just now. You should really pull these SCVs out of gas, because it's getting way too much gas here compared to his, same actually kind of on the other side of the map. It Is Me has done that too, which I really like. Mule has landed, missile turret over here as well as the detector to make sure that Banshees can't deal additional damage. Now there's a Cyclone available, okay. So that Cyclone is coming up all the way from the main base, the good old main. Not a whole lot you can do with that against siege tanks here. Yeah, Jason is trying to rebuild. He's going for a Liberator right now. I actually think the Liberator, again, like that's a very clever unit to go for. You very well know that you must have forced out a missile turret by now, so a Liberator can still harass this. This is also kind of an annoying spot to get to, right? Especially with that Stimpak. How in the world are you going to shut that down? A Liberator coming up right now as well for It Is Me, but that one is going to show up a little bit later. Yeah, this is, no, not worth your scan, that's for sure. Every time you see a scan going down, it could have been a mule. So a scan is just the same energy as a mule. So, yeah, mules are incredibly important right here. There's a reason why they're yellow, okay? They're actually made out of pure gold. That's how valuable they are. You think they're yellow? No, no, no. Just a dull color of gold right there. It's beautiful. Okay, here's the Liberator. Love that Liberator. Now, there is, of course, a Cyclone. He needs to get out of there. Jason, go, go, go. Nah, okay. Nah. Okay, well, in theory, it was a good idea. You get points for the theory alone. Two Widow Mines decide to burrow right next to one another. As Jason is trying to prevent that Cyclone from coming back up in the natural. Okay. So It Is Me has done a pretty good job, though. Trying to bring up his supply count. So 44 supply right now versus 23. Terran versus Terran, of course, is the matchup in StarCraft 2 where sometimes you can lose even when you are significantly ahead because of the power of siege tanks. In order to clean up this main base, It Is Me is gonna have to break the ramp. And in order to break that ramp, he's gonna have to fire, well, at these siege tanks in some way. If he just walks the Marines up there, the supply count can flip upside down very quickly. Okay, I love that Widow Mine shot over there, very nice. Not a whole lot of anti-air available. I think Jason going for a single Viking would be really nice. Yeah, I think he started up one. There you go. Very good. So, Vikings and siege tanks are very powerful here. It Is Me is hoping that he's going to be able to push forward here. Jason, thinking about moving the siege tank. Okay, I was a little afraid he was going to move it forward, but I actually think this is a good choice. Moving it backwards makes this very difficult right here for our, blue Terran to push forward. Viking is going to be out. Double Viking very soon. These Vikings can win. Unsiege. Good. Okay. Viking going to town. There you go. Yeah, so this could actually backfire for It Is Me. I know he's pretty much doubling his opponent's supply right now. 33 army versus only 14. But this is dangerous, man. Yeah, no, this supply can be evened up very quickly. The units right here in red, that bunker over here, all of this is very sturdy. It's difficult to break. Double Viking right now. Good control coming out of Jason here as well. If I were to make a guess, this is probably lower end of Platinum League. Just because, well, one of these guys was silver, but the gameplay is impressive. Scan over there. Like, these guys are more nimble on the keyboard, right? You can tell that they're quicker on the buttons. Maybe not APM-wise, but efficiency-wise for sure. Okay. So It Is Me has tested the waters. I like this choice again. He decides to go for a command center at the bottom of the map just to make sure that he does not, you know, keep running units to their deaths for no apparent reason. I think this is a great choice. There's a small chance that Jason is going to be able to sneak out a command center without It Is Me knowing about it. I mean, Jason is still trying to rebuild the workers. It Is Me only has 14 SCVs as well, though. And I wouldn't mind seeing a couple more there. But yeah, he may very well consider making another command center of his own. Okay, instead we're going for the supply depot hat, which honestly I don't like too much. Like, this gives you about 100 minerals, right? The cost of a supply depot. Whereas a mule obviously gives you a whole lot more mining than just 100. So not a very efficient way of playing it, but Jason, probably feeling the pressure in this game, decides to go double supply depot right now. CC at the bottom of the map is finishing up. Okay. Likewise, this is not really a position that Jason's going to be able to break. I wouldn't mind seeing it as me maybe going for like an attempted combat shield or stimpak if he really wants to. Don't think that would be horrible. Love the position right here on these Cyclones as well, just because he's scared of a Liberator or maybe the Vikings moving out. Now he knows. Okay. Not gonna happen. I think I'm gonna go ahead and speed up this game a little bit. Because I think that these guys are probably gonna sit here for a little while. Yeah. There's really no reason for either of them to move out. Although, well, I say that. Apparently Jason. Oh my god. Really, Jason? We're gonna put all of our eggs in the medevac basket? You just got spotted as well, no? Jason, I do not think you can jump on top of that. That is way too much blue. Okay, well, he's gonna try. He's gonna have to unload right now, otherwise he will lose units for free. No, don't lose a medevac full of Marines. Okay, somehow that one lived. Blue siege tanks, though, very scary here. Oh no, Jason. I liked what Jason was doing a lot, but this is... I mean, not him really giving away a lead, because I don't think he was ahead in the first place. Although this harassment over here could do work, though. I'm always cheering for the underdog. I find myself cheering for the underdog all the time. This is working out better than I anticipated. I'm not gonna lie, he just got the double Cyclone kill over there, too. He just shut down the mining here. We need a Liberator from It Is Me to really properly push this back. But the question is he thinking of that? I mean, he's got a Liberator on the other side of the map. I would love to see that one cycled over in this direction. But that's not what we've got. Planetary Fortress coming up down south. Siege tanks outrange planetaries. So I don't think that's really the main concern right here of Jason, who has now successfully shut down all of his opponent's mining. That Liberator, man. Okay, the Liberator, yeah, it has to come back home. That's the right choice for sure. Keep in mind, there's no stimpak, so It Is Me can't really move very easily. He could try and drop on top of this, which is exactly what he decides to do right now. Okay, he decides to drop on top of this. Liberator's, well, probably planning on sieging up here as well, but It Is Me does break this position. Very important. Okay. So now It Is Me should be able to get back to mining. He should be able to start producing 2 SCVs at once, and he should be able to continue transitioning away to a bigger army. Jason doesn't have a lot of mining, but he's still been actually, yeah, he's been matching his opponent's economy quite nicely here, especially when it's continuously shut down. It Is Me should have certainly had more economy available here. Okay, now the natural will be made here by Jason. This does leave the main a little bit more susceptible to drop play. There's a lot of Liberators out right now as well here for It Is Me. He's got a lot of SCVs, but he's getting too much gas. Okay. Okay. Worker count are actually in favor of the red player, who's suddenly feeling a lot more feisty. I think he should sit back for a little bit longer, to be honest. Anyways, he snipes a couple of his opponent's units right there for free once again. Okay, siege tank in blue here. It does get spotted, so It Is Me should... Oh god, should be able to get the first hits in. He's trying to cut off this entire situation, though, but that is a lot of Marines. Nice targeting right there by It Is Me, and he's going to be able to shut down those tanks easy peasy. I think Jason is losing a little bit of patience. He had so much patience going into this match when he first was contained on one base. Yeah, he was doing a great job deflecting all of his opponent's aggression, getting some really good value out of the couple units that he had, that I do think he could have won this, but